Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster is a film from the mid-60s, which I thought is perfect fodder for a stage adaptation. I was seeing a lot of places in America that were adapting a lot of sort of B-grade movies and turning them. The common thing is like turning them into musicals, which I thought was quite strange. You know, seeing like The Brain That Wouldn't Die, the musical, and Night of the Living Dead, the musical, and it made me realise, well, with the whole aspect of being able to use Foley artists and sound effects and essentially kind of create a movie live on stage, I thought that was much more appealing. So cut out the dodgy songs where zombies are trying to sing, and let's just try and adapt a script and make it, essentially an interactive experience where the audience can sort of see what goes on behind the scenes of making a B movie, but also having a lot of fun with it as well, and bringing out a lot of those cliches that people sort of expect from this sort of thing. Now, when I say B movie, I mean it in the nicest possible way. A lot of these times, these films were made for sort of the drive-in circuit, and they were called B movies because they'd play as a double feature, as the second movie. Most of the time, people were either asleep or had left by then anyway, so they didn't really care too much. No one ever watched these movies. They were really just made as drive-in fodder. So, and being able to look at it, I suppose, 50 years down the track, which, Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster is now 51 years old, you can really look back and go, wow, this is a historical artefact of a time when, people were wanting to fill out drive-ins and also just wanting to release whatever they can with the smallest budget they had. So I think with us doing something like this as a live stage version really, I suppose, really brings out that kind of mentality of a group of people getting together to work towards a common goal. So I'm, really excited about it.
I first met Kristian in 2012.
I was doing a lot of movies at Brisbane Square Library. Believe it or not, I was one of those people who wanted to push the envelope. If I could put a Dracula movie on at the cinema that was rated M, I thought I was just so cutting edge. And I remember one fellow, Willem Whitfield, came up to me at the end of one of our screenings.
When I was doing a documentary for a university class about cinephiles and people who are really into their cinema, and I didn't even think he was someone I wanted to talk to first. I wanted to find real cinema nerds, but guy in the group making the documentary with me said, no, we should go interview him. And I went to see one of his movies, and I was just like, oh my god, this guy's amazing. He does all the stuff that I'm interested in. He does all the stuff.
Interestingly, we were about to put on a floor show to, believe it or not, John Waters' Crybaby, and at that stage, I think it was a couple of days before we were due to cast it, and Willem came up with a friend of his and said, hey, we're really interested in being involved, and it just sort of one of those serendipitous things where it was worked out, and it's just been really great having Willem involved with a lot of my projects, because he reminds me a lot of where I was at that point in my life as well, and I kind of want to push him and sort of, help him develop and not make mistakes that I've made, because I've made a lot of mistakes.
He's such a great friend. He's not complicated to hang out with. If I want to go see Kristian one week, I can just look in his event list and say, okay, I want to go see Kristian, I'll go see Kristian, and I'll go see The Thing from Another World. He's playing that this week, I'll go see him at the cinema. And I won't end up seeing the film, I'll just end up sitting in the bar talking to him all evening, and it's great.
So working with Willem's great, and I think he shows a lot of maturity beyond his years with the sort of work he's putting on, and he's got a really big film background, a lot more sort of from the filmmaking side of point of view, and I think that works a lot in too with what we're doing. So that's the great thing about these events. They're all bringing these people with common goal together. So I'm really excited, and there's always, Willem and I have always got some project we've got to work on upcoming as well. So I'm glad to have him on board as our assistant director for Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster. But in many cases, he's probably more the director than I am. I need somebody, cracking the whip every now and then. So it's good to have someone so organised to be involved with this, because I can get very flighty and a bit sort of frazzled. So it's been great working with Willem, and so it's been 4 years this year. We've been doing so many things, and I've just seen him work on so many different projects that we've had coming up through my business and things like that. So I just think this has actually been the natural progression to be able to have him work on one of my shows. It's sort of a vice versa sort of thing. So I'm really excited about it. Frankenstein vs. Space Monster started out
last year when Kristian told me that he wanted to do a play like the one I was doing, which was a dream play.
I just went trawling basically on the internet looking for auditions, and I found as a director looking for actors for a play that he's doing called the Dream Play, and I auditioned and got the part. As the Dream Play is a turn of the century, esoteric, trippy kind of surrealist play with quite a serious theme. The plot of the play is the goddess Agnes, who is the daughter of Indra, comes down to Earth to investigate. Actually, her father, Indra, actually sends his daughter down to Earth to investigate the condition of man.
I really wanted to do something that was still fitting in that vibe, but something that we could sort of almost put together a lot quicker, work with a much smaller cast, and just have a lot of fun with it. I'm seeing a lot of sort of festivals or a lot of sort of dramatic events and things that are happening in Brisbane where they're almost wanting to take it too far, where it's almost getting lost on a lot of people, and I sort of want to bring it back in again and just put on a really fun show that people can come along, have a laugh at, and almost see every cliche that they're so used to from all of these movies.
And so the original idea was to have actors, as if they were reading the script for the first time, reacting to how terrible a movie it is.
And I suppose too, I wanted to wait until we got together as a group, because I saw this very much as a workshop production. When I say workshop, I mean we're bringing the script to the table, and organically it sort of gets sort of created because it's not until you bring it in and bring it to a group of people that sort of all these different ideas come out. It's gone now to places that I never thought it would, and at first I can be very, I don't know if I want to do that. But then I think once I sort of let it all sort of process, I realised that, I think it's it's all working towards getting, being for a common goal, and something that I think is going to be quite impressive and even better than the original movie.
On location in Puerto Rico. Released to drive-ins in 1965 under the name Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster, the film has gained a rather small, very small cult following.
So in terms of our stage show, we can subvert the whole tragic creature thing.
And maybe, I actually think him and Karen should escape. And it's probably, I've got it in the script here, need to find a line about Frank to tell the whole story, but it almost needs to be she's like, oh, Adam embraces him, and then it almost needs to be a line like, where Steele goes, well, Frank, you're more than just a robot, you're a man, blah, blah, you've proven yourself at science and blah, blah, and so I don't know what to do. They want.
But see, the vote thing, it encourages a lot more spontaneity. If you had the cheerometer thing, cheer if you want the sad ending, cheer if you want the happy ending,
And if they're silent, they've got an authority character to be like, well, fuck you, this is what you get.
So there's still been a lot of things we're working out, and I think being able to have it as part of a festival has been really good, because it means we sort of have to tighten our socks up and not just put on there it is. It has to be something that's not here, just a little bit more up here. And that's been really good for us. So still in the early stages at the moment. I'm looking forward to seeing what extra sort of things are going to come out. And I know that when the show's put on, it'll be streets away from what I was originally intending. And I mean that in the best possible way.
And we had Rob, who was playing one of the lead characters in Dream Play last year, coming on to work on this one. But he had other commitments, he couldn't do it.
There's a guy in Brisbane called Gareth Harris. He's a great acting teacher. I've been trying to get into his classes for quite a long time. And one thing every time he wanted me to come into the class, I was sort of busy with either a project, or I was too busy with work, or there was just a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I turned him down quite a few times. And then concurrently, when Willem invited me to be in Frankenstein versus the Space Monster, the day after that I actually got a call from Gareth to ask me if I wanted to be in the class, and I was torn. I had to make that choice, and at the time I really wanted to do Gareth's classes, and I had to make a call on it, so I turned down the being in Frankenstein versus the Space Monster.
Yeah, we've had a lot of problems too with the script. It hasn't sat well with me. To be honest, after a rehearsal last week, I literally felt at the end of it, I sat down and went, oh God. And it was no fault of the actors. I just sat down and was sort of feeling a bit gutted to myself about, oh, look, I'm just not 100% happy with this. Not realising this is the first rehearsal, Kristian. You've got like another probably 10 or more to go where you're going to work out a lot of these problems. So I think I was very hard on myself.
We started rehearsals without a full cast, and we kind of just added more people in as it goes along. We don't know who Frank is yet. Our Frankenstein.
We've cast sort of somebody who's not really part of us, but will be coming in to sort of play the role, on the seat of their pants, really, pretty much, and not sort of having any sort of coaching into what's sort of happening.
We think we're going to have someone important or someone who's got a big fan base to play Frank, who can be very interactive and get that kind of improvisational spirit going about the play. But we don't have him yet, so we don't know if we're going to have him. And with Rob gone, we're a bit worried about who's going to be Bowers. But it should all work out.
And I like to see things happen straight away. I wanted to see the finished product in front of my eyes, and I've got to realise these things are a process, and especially when you're working with other people as well, you've got to, fit in with people's timelines and schedules and things like that.
And I'm worried about myself, my own stuff that I've got going on. I've got work, I've got uni, and I've got this, and just all of that. Balancing all of that together is going to be difficult, to say the least.
A lot of those things I think I was feeling, but I'm starting to feel a lot better now because I'm realising, it's an organic process. It's not something that's going to be fully formed the moment it comes out. So that's been something I've had to sort of come to terms with as well. And not be so hard on us too. It's early days, and these things, if things need to be done, they'll be done, And the good thing is you've got a great group of people working around you. You're not just trying to, put this together on your own, sinking, drowning, trying to survive. So it's really good when you've got that support.
So we're going to give the audience kind of 3 options to work out. Now, what do we decide, guys? Because I need your help. I'm going to be writing all this. I think one of the options should be happy ending, which would just be kind of pretty much the ending and how it already is. Yeah. Think no one's going to, as Trevor said, no one's going to pick that, which is what probably. Are we going to have to rehearse all 3 endings, just in case?
Yeah, but they're all going to be really short.
Yeah, so it really only has to be from obviously that's not where it starts, where I've stopped it there. So I think the happy ending would be pretty much what it is now. All of space people get killed. Yeah. Karen escapes with Frank, and she ends up in your arms. Lala, happy Lala, and you might say something about Frank like, he is more than just a robot. He is a man, Karen, or something like. I don't know. That could be the happy ending, and then the end.
Karen, I've worked it out. I can attach one more piece, and we can make him a man.
I like it. The other option would be. Almost like a bad ending where the spacemen win, I think, and so maybe Karen and Frank get. So I need you guys to help me brainstorm what we can do for this.
I was thinking that the most logical ending, and probably the ending they should have had in the movie, would be that the aliens communicate with Dr. Steele somehow. He says, I can make you a whole bunch of women, just like I made Frank.
And they end up, so technically it's kind of a happy ending in a way. But I see what you mean. Okay, so still, you can use our advanced, Martian equipment.
I could grab the dolls on the wall and go, here's a fake woman, here's another fake woman, here's another fake woman.
Are you gonna ask man who would like that?
We've got ones of all different varieties here, and then pull out one that's like a male doll. Oh, whoops, wrong one.
Anyone's taste.
So Steele's expertise. So I'm just trying to used by us.
And then wasn't there the idea that Frank and the Space Monster become friends?
Yeah, because that's the thing. At the very end, there's the big duel between Frank and the Space Monster.